welcome back to We Bought a Mic, a pop culture podcast here with our most anticipated pop culture things of 2022.
Just items, just general media, really.
Leaflets, pamphlets,
books.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a book year?
Yeah. Posters up on the local Circle K. That's pop culture, right?
Faxes.
Yeah.
Press releases.
Yeah. Shout out to Seltzercast, labels on various merchandise.
I was thinking of like the press release that's going to go around when Russia invades Ukraine and then like us being drafted. Do you think that podcasters are going to go first or last? Do you think that they're gonna save us?
They'll stick us in the middle.
They have
when
like
things are real slow and drawn
entertainment
out.
for the infantry. The infantry is just listening to us blabber on about like movies that we like.
We're gonna revert back to like 1917 trench warfare,
Sick.
and they're just gonna be sitting there
so.
in the trenches. Like, we just need We Bought a Mic right now.
Could we? This is a side tangent, but is it theoretically possible that like before a war, both sides could get together and be like, all right, we agree we're only using muskets.
Right.
Like, this is musket warfare only. It's one and done with your shots.
And you have to clean out the entire muzzle every time.
You gotta just keep doing the whole process. Yeah, that's what
I would love that.
Let's get back to that.
Yeah, tell that to Putin, who's testing out his missiles right now.
Putin, just throw that around the old noggin.
Welcome to the show. My name's Ernest.
I'm fan of Media Hunter.
And we got a special guest here for the visual listeners, Moo, the dog. He'll be lounging around, pacing around, hopefully not making any noise for the audio listeners only, as a special treat to the YouTube channel, The Watchers.
Was that me or was that me? I don't know. I guess you have to watch the YouTube to find out if that was me.
Never know.
I don't know.
Drew has not transformed into a dog, as some people might be assuming right now. He couldn't make it, so we are postponing Aladdin till Drew gets back from the diplomatic negotiations with Mr. Putin.
Yes, yeah. He's doing God's work right now.
Right. So just pray for Drew to keep the Ukrainians alive in this dire time right now. Pray for Drew, pray for Ukraine. But yeah, we're bumping Aladdin, and we're going to give you our most anticipated movies, TV, and other pop culture things of the year. And then in a separate episode, we're going to do a little bit of awards catch-up, so stick around for that. But let's get right into it. Let's look at what we picked last year when we did this episode. And I kind of want to just... If you didn't listen to last year's anticipated episode, Hunter is getting up to get a drink for the visual people.
I did a bad job preparing right before we started podcasting.
See, this is something about the video part of the podcast is we can't sneakily get up anymore without people being like, "What the fuck is going on?" Or I could just cut that whole part out.
No. You have to leave that in. It's an Easter egg that's just for the visual listeners. You're like, oh, Hunter didn't prepare right before he started recording. Like, we are like 2.5 minutes into you pressing record and already out.
Good thing in the new studio, we do have a fridge right next to us, which is very good.
Yeah, if there was ever episodes in the past where people listen, we just went silent for like 45 minutes, it's because we ran up to the store, bought a 12-pack, and then raced back over here. And that's why we would just repeat the same thoughts that somebody else had already articulated.
Also, shout out to this nondescript mystery green bottle of American lager.
We have the koozies on. We have my wedding koozies out here on display. Shout out to Zazzle.
Yeah.
Where I ordered these koozies.
Shout out to Mike Flanagan, whose work is forever immortalized.
There we go.
Okay. So last year when we did this episode, we each drafted 7 things that we were excited for in 2021. For a total of 21 things that we were excited for. So I want to run down like the things that actually came out.
Yeah, recap. Did we do good with our anticipations?
Yeah.
What missed?
There's some rollover into 2022. So Hunter, you picked Dune,
Hey,
French Dispatch, and Get Back.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I did pretty good.
Yeah.
I went 3 for 3 on mine. French Dispatch, I still enjoy a lot, even if it hasn't sat with me as well as the other two.
I loved all of those, as you can tell from our best of the year, if you listen to that one. Okay. These are the things that you picked that did not come out.
Well,
Mission Impossible 7.
So that one hurt the most. Actually, I think that's where Drew is right now. Is Drew's still trying to deal with like the whole bridge collapse issue, and that I think that is actually going to spark a world war.
I'm on the phone with every producer from every studio all night. We are the golden standard.
Man, do you know how much I wish that could even be on this list? I wish that could just be, if we could just talk about that as a 2022 release, I would be ecstatic.
Oh.
But unfortunately, Tom Cruise has to like find the cure for cancer first before he releases this masterpiece onto the world.
MI7 bumped to 2023, so not even on this list. You also picked The Lord of the Rings, which now we know is called The Rings of Power. Coming out in September, confirmed.
We got our first preview of during the Super Bowl.
Looks solid.
You know, it looks expensive.
Yeah.
I can definitely confirm that it looks good. Don't know anything beyond that.
And then you also picked The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
which also got pushed to this year.
It's about to come out, I believe.
I think it comes out in
soon.
April. I think it has an April release date.
It's
super
the Nick
excited
Cage
for that.
as Nick Cage. Film.
Yeah, listeners, longtime listeners have heard about this movie. If you have not heard about this movie, it is involves a drug cartel. It's the FBI hires Nick Cage to like cater a drug cartel person's birthday party and go like undercover as himself. It looks incredible. Watch the trailer. Trailer looks great. Excited for our boy Nick Cage. Yeah. I think that's going to be the one that he wins an Oscar for, is for him playing himself.
And then finally, Top Gun Maverick, which I believe has been pushed back for approximately 17 years.
Feels right. I remember I almost went to a screener for it in June of 2019.
Right.
So
this
movie's just been cooking.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on the shelves.
Is it going to come out? Maybe.
I don't know. I'm ready for it.
So that's your list. Here's Drew's list. So these are the things that came out that he picked. Last Night in Soho, Succession.
Which I don't know if he ever even saw Last Night in Soho, to be honest.
The Green Knight. He got the Green Knight.
Hit.
And Nightmare Alley.
Hey.
Which we'll talk about in the separate episode. So stick around for that. And then these are the things that he picked that did not come out. The Curse, which is the Safdie brothers, Emma Stone,
Nathan Fielder.
Like home improvement horror.
Yeah.
Mockumentary thing.
It's on HBO, right? Or is it
something like maybe Showtime?
Yeah, it's something. It's the premise of it is of course it's directed by the Safdies, written by Nathan Fielder, written and co-starring Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone, I believe.
So it's Showtime.
But it is essentially, it's a cross between. Yeah,
Nathan
like
is in it.
Yeah, it's an HGTV style home improvement show, but the house they take over is haunted. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be tense because it's got the Safdie stamp on it.
It's on the Showtime website right now, so I'm guessing this is gonna come
filmed. Yeah, it's for the most part.
There's no visuals. It's just text.
Well, that's something. It's definitely Showtime also doesn't have a lot going on right now. So
I did start watching Yellow Jackets, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's worth to stick around with my subscription until I finish it.
Huh.
Okay. And then he also picked Untitled Bo Burnham Project, which I guess was not Inside because we didn't know about Inside. I guess this is the script that he wrote. That has had Jabuki Youngwhite attached to it.
Oh, that one. Okay,
this project. I know this film has not been filmed. This has not been shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is not coming out in 2022. Yeah. If I had to make a guess, Bo Burnham is attached to something else that's coming out this year. What is it?
To direct?
No, not to direct. He is in. Oh, that's right. It's Sesame Street. It's like a.
That's an old project.
I know. With Anne Hathaway and Chance the Rapper.
I don't know if
apparently
that's
it has a
happening.
2022 date.
Really?
Don't know how much. It still says that it's in pre-pro right now though on IMDb.
Okay.
So TBD on that one.
And then he also picked new Kendrick album, which I think you can just blanket to any year the past 4 years.
Although I will say that there is some stronger possibilities of that happening this year because of Kendrick's kind of ominous post that he made in, what was it, like August of 2021 about how
and the Super Bowl performance.
Yeah. He's working on his final TDE album, which if that's the final Kendrick album, who knows if that's the final album for a long time.
That's right. I forgot about that post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we may get it.
Yeah. I hope so. If that does come to fruition, that comes out this year, that's my number one most anticipated thing of the year. Just shoot that up at the top of the list.
All right, here are the things that I picked that came out. Untitled PTA, aka Soggy Bottom, aka Licorice Pizza.
Straight banger.
Yeah. Impeachment American Crime Story. Which your mileage may vary on that one.
Well, you're the watcher,
Yeah.
You wanna
I didn't hate it. It was pretty good. It was
sounds like it didn't meet expectations.
Quiet Place Part 2, which we enjoyed. Shout out to Scoot McNairy. And Matrix 4, now known as Matrix Resurrections.
Are you happy? Did your list reach the expectations? That's your most anticipated things of the year. I think, would you say all of them are either a disappointment or at least a notch down below what their predecessors were?
I think that they at least...
Did they scratch an itch for you?
Yeah, they managed to fulfill a certain type of satisfaction, even if the quality wasn't what I would hope.
Man, I completely forgot that you had impeachment on your list. God bless you, Ernie.
And then these are the things that I picked that did not come out. The Northman, the Robert Eggers film.
That's coming out this year.
Which remains
That's got a release date, baby.
One. Yeah, that trailer fucking rocks. Atlanta season 3.
That's coming out.
Which very soon. I think late March.
Yeah.
And also we learned we're getting Atlanta season 4 before the end of the year, like, probably like November-ish, we'll say. And then Barry season 3, which we're also about to get. Finally, after like, God,
2018, 2017?
Jeez. No, maybe 19.
Was it 19? Jesus Christ, time doesn't exist.
Yeah, ever since like March 2020, it's all
pre-pro.
Just been...
I've been watching Station 11, so I can now say pre-pan.
Yeah, pre-pan. Barry came out in 20. Well, no, the first season was in 2019.
That's not right. First season?
Oh, no. Season 2 was 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
So
still, it's been 3 years.
Jeez. I'm so excited for Barry.
I will say, because TV and movies too can, they take a while to get made. I just hope for a lot of these things that had to get pushed back to a year that you don't feel the pandemic element to them.
Right. Yeah.
That's all that I can hope.
So those are the things that we drafted in the anticipated episode from last year that we're still excited for this year. I'll just recap. This is everything that is still yet to come out, at least that we know of in 2022. The Lord of the Rings, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Top Gun Maverick, The Curse, possibly a new Kendrick album, possibly a new Bo Burnham project. That one I am doubtful. Maybe we'll get something from him, before
Bill will pop
anything.
Up. Yeah. Bill will have like a celebrity dating thing or something. I don't know.
The Northman, Atlanta, and Barry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to basically take that, acknowledge that, pump up our praise for these things, and we're going to set it aside. And we're going to pick new things that I didn't just mention that we're excited for. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how should we do this? Should we break it up into like TV, movies, and everything else, or should we kind of just go back and forth?
Let's just go back and forth, because I just have like an assortment of things that I'm hyped about.
Okay. All right. And we'll get to 22. So we'll do 11 each.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So a brand new 2022 things. 22 things that we're excited for in 2022.
22 excited 22. Okay. You wanna go first?
Nope.
Yeah. This is so here's the thing. I haven't watched this trailer yet. I know I'm going to see this trailer, but I'm waiting to see it until I see it in a theater. That's just, I want to experience this in a dark room and just not realize that it's Nope at first, and then realize that it's Nope, see a guy getting pulled away and just be like, fuck yeah, that's Nope.
Jordan Peele's third feature film. It's called Nope. We know that it involves some sort of creepy cloud and that it stars Stephen Yeun, Keke Palmer, and Academy Award winner Daniel Kaluuya. This is number one with a bullet.
I agree. I can't wait. Fucking shoot this shit in my veins. I'm so excited for it. We should say also incredible year for Keke Palmer coming up. She's in Nope. She's also in, let me pull it up. She's in attached to a few different projects that are coming out this year. Alice.
She's in Lightyear.
She's in Lightyear. She's in Alice, written and directed by Kristen Verlinden, about kind of looks like a modern take on like a blaxploitation type film, Jackie Brown type role. Like I'm super excited for that. That looks incredible. Yeah. So good on Keke Palmer. I'm glad that she's getting back out there.
I will say like one really cool thing about Nope. And shout out to Lee, who had the fiery take. I wish Drew was here to hear this. She thinks she was saying that she thinks Jordan Peele is the new M. Night Shyamalan.
Lee, so I have breaking news for you, Ernest, and for the listeners. Lee is no longer allowed on this podcast. Actually, she's not allowed back after that take.
But what
does that mean? What is she just saying that like just he's done? Like he had one and now it's all visual flash and no writing? What is that supposed to mean?
Us kind of left like a weird taste in her mouth that she thinks that it's like he's like corny or something, which like we know Lee always has the hot takes.
Lee is always coming in hot.
But one thing I love about this trailer, I won't say anything about it, but like one thing I say whatever you want about it, like have all your hot takes about it. When you compare this trailer to all the other Super Bowl trailers that came out, damn, it feels good to see a majority non-white cast. It's just a cool ass movie.
Yeah.
Because like everything, Doctor Strange, Lord of the Rings, like everything was just like all white people.
And attached to IP.
Yeah,
this is new.
That's the other thing.
Fucking an original story
done on a big scale.
Exactly. That is also just so fucking cool. Like an original story with a minority cast. Like I'm all fucking in on this. I can't. Oh, the other Keke Palmer project, which I'm really excited for. I don't know if it's gonna hit my expectation for it, but the Proud Family is coming back.
Oh.
The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, coming to Disney Plus.
There you go.
In a week, February 23rd.
Nice. Yeah, we're doing this late. We're recording this late February. There's things that like have already come out or are about to come out.
So I was gonna say, I meant to do this up at the top, but I just do it now. If we would have recorded this a month ago, then on my list, at least in my top 5, would have been Jackass Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I saw it. That hit my expectations.
Oh, hell yeah.
That surpassed my expectations. The old guy still got it, and Johnny Knoxville is a sex god.
Okay. What's your pick?
Maybe it's because I'm drinking the Alex Garland Kool-Aid, and maybe it's because it's one of the coolest trailers that I've seen in the last couple of years, but I'm going with Men. Alex Garland's Men.
Starring Jessie Buckley.
I've been trying to think about it. I think Jessie Buckley, she's at least in like my top 5, top 3 favorite actors just working right now. Like I've never seen a bad Jessie Buckley performance in anything. Alex Garland's just one of my guys, just always been one of my guys. Going back to Ex Machina, Annihilation, which I have some issues with that movie, but none of it is Alex Garland based. I think that I have issues with the script and the story itself, but it's adapted. So, what are you going to do with that? And then of course the devs just a couple of years ago, which again, I think is one of the best visual storytellers that we have working right now.
Right.
And Men looks like a visual story driven film. So I'm just all in on that. I think the trailer kicks absolute ass. Banger of a poster. Big fan of like a great movie poster. I feel like that's like a lost art in a lot of movies.
It's like a tunnel that when you kind of fuzz your eyes a little bit, just looks like
a face, looks like a little skull.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for this. It comes out around my birthday, which I love May movies. That's just like a thing going back to my childhood.
Kicking off the summer season.
It's kicking off the summer season. And it's always just like, it's my birthday. Gotta go see
I have April, so I get the dump movies.
You get the movies that are like not quite summer releases. They're like, maybe this will get a little bit of carryover for a month. No, I'm all in on this.
I'm glad it's a movie. I'm glad he's not like falling into like the prestige TV cycle.
I am too, because I was worried, especially after Devs. And if you listen to some of the interviews they gave after Devs, he was just like, I love having the TV space because there's so much more of a sandbox to work with, a playground to work with. Part of me, the more I think back on it, thinks that maybe Devs would have worked a little bit better as a movie. Because I think that, or maybe I think that Devs is like 2 episodes too long. I think that it's like just kind of
spins its wheels a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit too much where it tries to explain itself. And that's a problem that I think that the best of Alex Garland avoids that problem, and the worst of it tries to kind of go all in with the exposition. And
Ex Machina is a masterpiece.
Yes.
And Annihilation. Remember we saw Annihilation together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw it in like was it a screener?
I think it was a screener, yeah. And like it was
packed fucking screener.
Like half the people were like over the age of like 55 and they were just like, they were so not into it.
The ending, the last act of Annihilation is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So that's Men.
It's Men.
Men.
I'm actually excited for the 2.5 Men. I heard that they got another half man in there.
Yeah.
So that's 3 men.
Yeah, they're bringing Charlie Sheen back.
But he's like half the man he used to be.
Okay, let's go over to TV. Speaking of prestige TV, let me just throw out a couple things that are not gonna fully make my list here. Okay. Westworld.
Yeah, that's not
Season
touching
4.
my list.
I'm gonna watch it. Okay.
I'm happy for you.
I'm
really happy for you.
I don't know why, but I'll tune in and give it another fucking shot. This terrible show. Mrs. Maisel literally just came back this weekend as of recording. It's back since since 2019 show. Mm-hmm. Hacks coming back for season 2. Super excited. And For All Mankind coming back for season 3. But my actual pick, Better Call Saul, the final season. Holy shit. This thing is going to blow my brains out. Holy shit.
When does this come back? Do I have time?
Oh, you have time. Yeah. I think they set it for April. I think it's like late April. Let's see. Yeah, April 18th. So you could barrel through it. And it is going to be a weekly model. So you're going to have plenty of time, if you want to get to it before the series actually ends. And they're doing this thing. Every big show is doing this now where they're splitting
the season.
Yeah. So we're going to get the first half of season 6, April 18th. And then they're going to take a little break, maybe like a month and a half or something. And then we'll get the second half before the end of the year. This show rocks.
Maybe I just need to do it because I wasn't watching Breaking Bad like from the get-go. I think I caught up with that in season 4.
Most people weren't.
Breaking Bad's 5 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I caught up with that at the end of season 4 so that I could watch season 5 week to week. So maybe that's just what I need to do with Better Call Saul too. I have to binge through so that I can get back to the point so I'm caught up with everything.
Honestly, you'll get a lot out of it that way because the first season, maybe like the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul are very slow. It's not the whiz bang type of show that you get in Breaking Bad. It takes its time. It's very methodical. And by the time you get to that 3rd season and you've been sitting in that mode, that's when it like slowly starts to turn up the heat and it earns its big moments.
But I will say, so this is coming from somebody who started a rewatch of Breaking Bad during the, like, whenever the pandemic first started, like April, May of 2020. That show's really fucking slow. I think that everybody forgets how slow Breaking Bad is for the first couple of seasons. Excuse me. Because of how electric, like, the last season and a half of the show was. But, I mean, other than a couple of, like, big moments here and there, the first 2 seasons are, like, really slow.
Right.
It's a lot of like, we're trying to perfect the crystal meth recipe and like we have to teach Walter Jr. how to drive a car. Like that's lot of where the show is spending its time.
It's just because the first episode, the pilot is such like a kind of fired up, energetic pilot that you're left with that impression of it being that kind of show. But then, you're right. It does kind of like slow down until like well into season 2 and then 3 when you get Gus in there and Los Pollos. All right, your turn. What you got?
I'm gonna go with my favorite movie from a few years ago as a sequel coming out. It's an animated movie. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Oof.
So it's by the same creative team as who made Into the Spider-Verse, which is, I think, the best animated movie of the last decade. I think that it's one of the best movies like of the 21st century, frankly. It was in my top 10 movies of the decade last year, or whenever we did our top 10 of the decade. I think that it's an absolute masterpiece, and it's the same people are coming back and doing another story. I was a little conflicted at first whenever I saw that they were splitting Across the Spider-Verse into a Part 1 and a Part 2, because in general, I don't really like Part 1s.
See, Dune.
Maybe it's... But Dune is... Well, exactly. Dune is kind of an exception that proves the rule, because Dune is a complete story while also only being half of a story.
I know, but I'm just saying you still dinged it for that.
I did ding it for that. But... I think that I'm more willing to forgive a Part 1 in a comic book sense. And maybe I think it's because we've just been trained by like the Marvel of it all to view everything as a chapter in the wider story, and that there is never a beginning and an end. Either way, I'm so excited for this. They released the first look into it. I think.
Yeah, it's the tiniest little snippet, but it looks fucking stunning.
Yeah, it's the best animation like I've ever seen in my entire life. Like whatever they are doing with this animation style is so wholly unique. No one has ever been able to kind of emulate this specific style of animation.
We're going to get different styles of animation as we go across the Spider-Verse.
I'm so excited, man. God, I can't wait.
Yeah, this rocks. Okay, so back to me. Let's go with a movie that I am going to see in a matter of days. It's Matt Reeves' The Batman.
Yeah, I left this for you. I had this at my list. I was like, the man who has changed his whole Twitter persona to Bobby Patty the Batty Daddy needs to own The Batman on his list.
I already got my ticket to see this. March 1st. It's happening on the big full-size IMAX screen. Goddamn. I can't. I saw the trailer. I couldn't contain myself. I saw the new trailer and I was just like pumping my fist the whole time. Like, fuck yes. Right behind you. I don't think the viewers can see it. I have a Planet of the Apes poster on the wall right here. And it's just like Caesar is home. Like that fucking Matt Reeves fucking energy is just pumping through my veins right now. And I don't want to overhype myself because, you know, this movie could be any number of things, but it has the potential to be the best Batman movie. Like if they play their cards right, if they don't try to reinvent anything that has come before, but just pick up the pieces of what has worked and lean into the roots of the comic book, this thing is going to blow every other Batman movie out of the water. Like I can just feel it in my bones. I'm so excited for it. I am ready to kind of, you know, check my expectations a little bit once I'm seated in the theater. But right now, while making this list, I'm just like so fired up. I'm so ready for this movie. I just rewatched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is my favorite one. Mm-hmm. I love War. I'm definitely going to rewatch that one too. Just to, you know, kind of get the hype going a little bit. And I might rewatch a couple of other Batman movies. I was thinking about doing a full Batman rewatch, but you
have to watch some stinkers.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. Maybe eventually, if this movie like really wows me and I'm like,
you're just feeling the Batman hype.
Yeah, I might just like pick and choose a little bit because like there have been plenty of Batman movies that have blown me out of the water before, like Batman Returns, the Tim Burton one. Obviously The Dark Knight, fucking Heath Ledger King, like, and I gotta say it, the Lego Batman movie.
So I'm glad that you brought up the Lego Batman movie because that movie it just turned 5 years old like a week or two ago. I saw some Twitter posts going around about it. Wild that movie came out 5 years ago, and also kind of wild that nobody talks about that movie because that movie kicks ass. I think that like I revisit the Lego Batman movie more than I revisit the first Lego movie, which might be like sacrilege to some people, but like
it gets the character. It knows what the character is.
It gets it right. It gets it so right. Can I tell you the thing that gets me most excited for Matt Reeves, the Batman, is that in the run up to this movie coming out, there hasn't been any releases of, they're also going to make like, they're going to make like all of these, like they're playing a franchise based off of this story, and they're going to plan all these other little like subsequent side projects for everything. We have that whole thing with the Penguin, which who knows if that's is that actually going to get made?
Oh, the show?
The show?
Yeah. So
is that getting made?
So Warner Brothers / HBO Max, they want this connective tissue. They just pulled it off with Peacemaker coming off of the Suicide Squad. It had really good ratings and it's actually a great show. I watched it. I like it so much more than the movie. James Gunn just got a chance to like really flesh all these characters out and not just have massive, bombastic, disgusting action sequences, which, you know, some people love, you know, the gruesome, you know, intensity of whatever that movie was. I like the movie. I didn't hate it. Peacemaker it leans into the characters, which is what James Gunn is all about. And it worked. And now HBO, Warner, they're looking and they're like, okay, what else can we do here? What other movie entities can we have spill over into HBO Max? They're gonna try it with Dune too, I think, with
is
Rebecca
the Sand
Ferguson.
or is what is it called, like
the Bene Gesserit?
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit thing.
The Sisterhood. It's
Did you see that they're also making a Dune video game that's supposed to come out this year? It's called it's called The Spice Wars.
What?
I swear to God, look this up right now. It's called The Spice Wars. I think it's called The Spice Wars: A Dune Story or something like that. It's like a PS5 game.
What?
I swear to God to you. This is a thing that I saw.
On Steam. Okay, there's something on Steam. Oh, it's an RTS. Real-time strategy game. That's awesome. Hell yeah. I'm going to play the shit out of this.
There you go. Happy for you. My whole thing, though, is kind of the opposite because aside from this Penguin thing, which we haven't really heard much about since
it was just announced.
That it's going to be a thing. That gets me more excited for the Batman because I'm like, we don't have to like worry about setting up 1,000 other stories. We're going to have just one movie. And when was the last time that we had a Batman movie that was just like one movie?
I guess you
going back to like the original Tim Burton where we didn't know if we were going to get a sequel
or the Joel Schumacher movies because they were like it was Val Kilmer and then George Clooney.
But still, it was just those movies are so tongue-in-cheek to the entire character of Batman that it's kind of like Batman is like an ever-living entity that's always being reincarnated, where this looks wholly unique for what it is. And
it is more Batman, which like I know a lot of people are like, really? Again?
We're going to run this back?
Yeah. And it's like on surface level, it looks extremely similar to the Nolan movies just because it is going for like that kind of more grounded, gritty look. But I think that Nolan was trying to do something a lot more kind of tactile. Like he was definitely from the Michael Mann school of action filmmaking. This is more from like the Fincher school of thriller filmmaking. Thriller like dark serial killer type of vibe.
I think that what this is and what it's kind of, I think this will be more like what I wanted the Snyder BVS Batman to be, which is Batman as detective.
Yeah.
We've never seen Batman as detective, and just the little snippets that we've seen, it looks like he's actually like going in and like investigating crime scenes and shit like that. It's the shit that like makes a game like Arkham Asylum or like Arkham City great, is because you do have like the whole looking around and trying to like act as a detective while you are also a fucking superhero.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, this movie is going to be all just looking for Riddler trophies. It's just 3 hours of Robert Pattinson like trying to find little green question marks hidden behind objects.
Which is better.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was kind of thinking that it was just going to be like me playing Arkham City, where it's just me trying to like screen glitch into buildings. And he did decide not to do that. So, good. Whatever.
Oh, real quick. Remember when this movie was supposed to be directed by Ben Affleck and starring Ben Affleck as Batman? Because, like, I remember that was an insane time when, like, this was what we were looking forward to, which could have been great.
I'm happy for Ben. I really respect what Ben Affleck did. And as time goes on, I feel like we all need to respect. He was just like, I won an Oscar. I like cannot miss right now. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna be fucking Batman, and then I'm gonna direct a Batman movie as Batman. And then just
I would have kind of loved.
It went about as bad as it possibly could, but that's not his fault. I still think we love Ben.
We love Ben. Come on the show, Ben.
Come on.
Right. What you got?
I want to take us to the world of music. And I want to talk about a band that over the last 2 years I've become obsessed with. Whenever concerts started coming back and they were announced that they were having a show in Orlando, I bought tickets as soon as humanly possible. And that is for the band 100 GECS.
Oh, nice.
Their follow-up to 1000 GECS is coming up this year. 10,000 GECS. For people who don't know, 100 GECS is, oh God, how to even describe them? They're like
post music.
They are post genre. They're electronic, pop driven, with a lot of like kind of pop punk emo style songwriting choices, but with just straight electronic beats with no actual true instrumentation for the most part. That's how I would describe 1000 GECS. That album was really big in the underground scene and then just kind of blew up with artists, specifically with Charlie XCX and Patrick Stump of Fall Out Boy and Cara Cara Bonito, a ton of other like really more well-known artists, to the point where they made an entire feature album called 1000 GECS and the Tree of Clues that's just featuring everybody from Charlie XCX, Rico Nasty, Injury Reserved, Fall Out Boy. Just got in all of these incredible people. I think that 10tricks Point Never might have, they did something with 10tricks Point Never. But this is their follow-up to that album. And I had a chance to see them back in November of 2021, and half of their set was new songs.
Oh, nice.
And I am so fucking excited for this album because if it captures like half the energy of being at that concert, then this is gonna be like my favorite album of the year. It feels so classic pop punk in a way that just music doesn't get made anymore, but it doesn't feel stale or derivative. Again, I'm judging this based off of seeing a live concert, so might be different whenever they actually get in a recording studio and try to put all of this concentrated into one single versus having the energy of like 200 people just jumping up and down to a beat in a small sweaty room.
Also, a lot more people know them now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's expectations.
This is like, I think I saw it. It was on Vulture or Rolling Stone, but this was on their list for their most anticipated albums of the year. And I like did a double take whenever I saw it. I was like, fucking 100 GECS are like blowing up now. Like this band that the first time you listen to them, listeners, like if you just throw on Money Machine, you might hear it and be like, is this bad? Is this really bad? I don't know. But then you listen to it like another 7-8 dozen times and like, you're like, oh, this is the greatest music ever made. And so I can't wait for this fucking album. I'm so ready for it. The first single has come out. It's Me, 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 which is, again, very classic pop punk, but also not in a shitty Machine Gun Kelly kind of way where it feels like they're stealing a genre.
All right. Let's go back to TV for a second. And I'm going to put something on my list here that I have a lot of reservations about.
Oh no. Is this going to be your impeachment pick of the year?
Exactly.
That it might just not work.
I honestly, I'm already regretting it, but I'm not going to walk it back. This is a Netflix show that's based on one of the greatest comic books ever made. And I just have no faith that it's going to live up to it. But if it does, I'm calling my shot right now. It's the Sandman, based on the Neil Gaiman comic. We saw a little preview of it, a little bit of footage. There's been like a couple snippets. This adaptation has passed through so many iterations over the years. I think it was originally published in the 90s, maybe the late 80s or something like that. And it is just this incredible, like, genre shifting, era jumping, metaphysical story that is just so many stories folded into it. And it's finally coming. And I just, it's like Why the Last Man last year. I didn't have that in my most anticipated, but I just felt the need to give my time to it because the source material is so incredible. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I feel about it. The book is incredible. I actually want to kind of revisit it because it's been a while since I've read it. But I just remember it being so psychedelic and mind-bending. And I hope that the show can capture that. And I hope that it can just really sink the audience into this world and into this state of just like being able to bend and morph and follow the character of the dream of Morpheus through these like incredible journeys all over. Like it goes everywhere, man, all throughout human history. And like it could be that kind of story that could do anything. It could go anywhere. It could be anything. It has that boundless feeling to it. They don't have to adapt it exactly like the book. They can take liberties and just capture the feeling of it and the essence of it to really give us something special and unique that could be rooted in the sensibilities of the book. So if it lives up to that, it could be my favorite thing of the year.
I'm really excited for this. I hope that they do like what you said and they do take liberties with it, because I haven't read this. To be honest, I own a copy of the Sandman because
The big box set.
Yeah, because Neil Gaiman's like one of her favorite writers. So I have like a ton of Gaiman's work like at my home, but I've never actually read the Sandman. I'm really excited with it, but I hope they take liberties with it because for the most part, I've heard from people who have read this that this is kind of unadaptable material.
Right. It's so many different stories.
You're gonna kind of have to make your own story, is there like a writer attached to this?
So Gaiman is involved. Gaiman is heavily involved. Okay. And then his main kind of guy is David S. Goyer, who hasn't had the best track record.
Oh boy.
Not he's done some good stuff. So he has writing credit on the Blade trilogy. He worked with Nolan on Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and Rises. Then he got folded into Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. He also did the Terminator Dark Fate sequel that brought back Linda Hamilton.
There's a lot of misses on. There's a lot of just stuff on here, so it's hard to kind of pick out.
He did Foundation.
A lot of these things that he's attached to are things where there's like 50 writers on, so like you don't even really know like what he did.
He was a story consultant on Call of Duty Black Ops.
Sick. Did he like greenlight No Russian? Oh wait, that's Modern Warfare 2. Never mind. So for my next one, I'm thinking about going a few different ways here. But at the end of the day, I'm a simple man. I like simple things. I'm a fan of filmmakers. I'm a fan of stars of cinema. And I'm really excited for The Killers of the Flower Moon. I drafted it in our friend movie draft with like my first pick. And then of course that didn't come out, which I kind of had a feeling that wasn't going to come out.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick it.
When there's a Martin Scorsese movie that's starring Leonardo DiCaprio and it's on the board, you just go ahead and take
it. And Robert De Niro.
Yeah, you just go ahead and take that whenever you get the chance. Yeah, people who don't know, it's an adaptation of a David Gran novel, a book that actually I did just order because I want to read it before the film comes out. Written by Eric Roth, longtime collab, responsible for some of the best Scorsese work, starring Leo, Jesse Plemons, Brendan Fraser, the Brendan Fraser comeback. Let's go, baby. Bobby D, as you mentioned, John Lithgow. I'm so excited for this movie. It's about the IMDb plot of it is members of the Osage tribe in the United States are murdered under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, sparking a major FBI investigation involving J. Edgar Hoover. I'm just all in on that. Anytime that we're going to get into like a crime, kind of there's something going on at a higher level film and it's directed by Martin Scorsese, just sign me the fuck up for it. I'm all in. I wonder who is actually playing Hoover in this. I know it's not Leo is not reprising his role as J. Edgar Hoover.
From the classic Clint Eastwood film.
Classic Clint Eastwood film, J. Edgar, that we all remember so well, so fondly. I can't wait for this movie.
Hell yeah. I hope it comes out this year.
It's in post-production. It's coming out this year.
They're finished filming?
No, it's in post-production right now. Like it's for sure coming out this year. I think that
it's going to be on Apple.
I think that, yes, it's an Apple film. I really hope that it gets theatrical release. Really, really fingers crossed that it's going to play outside of New York and LA. Did you see, like, they're doing some stuff now with Coda, where Coda's playing in theaters.
I think for free they're putting it out.
With closed captioning on, which is awesome.
Tim.
Thanks. Apple needed a win these days. Yeah. I can't fucking wait for this movie, man. I think that's
Scorsese. We don't know how many else we'll get from
exactly. The man's in his 80s. Yeah. You got to appreciate it while you're getting them. I think that they had this movie ready to go that could have come out last year. And I think that probably very smartly. I think
seems like a huge movie.
Yes. No. But I think that the studio looked at the film landscape and saw like, hey, You know who else
no
is
room for
releasing
this.
movies every fucking week for like going into still now in February when things like Worst Person in the World are starting to get wide releases? Everybody's releasing their backlog from 2 years.
Yeah,
and
that's a good point.
Killers of the Flower Moon has just been going to sit up on the shelf for a little bit longer so that it can kind of own the whole award circuit.
So
and festival
Scorsese
circuit and
can
everything.
sit at the Oscars with 0 wins again, just like he did for The Irishman.
Probably. Who cares about the Oscars? Are stupid.
Awesome. Okay, so let's swing back to me, and I'm gonna go with a movie that. So usually, you know, we talk about this a lot about avoiding trailers and wanting to be super excited and not know anything about certain movies. I've been a bit of a bad boy lately, and I've watched the Northman, Nope, and Batman trailers. I've watched the trailer for pretty much every movie that's coming out this year that I could get my hands on, except the trailer for the new movie by Daniels, the guys who made Swiss Army Man.
Let's go. I'm so fucking excited for this is on my list too.
It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. And this is the one trailer that I keep telling myself, do not fucking watch this trailer. You need to go into this movie not knowing anything about it. All I know is that crazy ass title, that it stars Michelle Yeoh, and that there's a bunch of googly eyes on the poster.
And like Jenny Slate and Jamie Lee Curtis are also in this movie.
I didn't even know that.
I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you have this on your list because this was going to be on my list as well. I think that it's you, me, and then like 12 other people love Swiss Army Men.
Like
and
top 5 of that year.
And we're like completely alone on an island. Nobody likes this movie about a farting corpse Daniel Radcliffe.
Just amazing.
And Paul Dano just out here stranded on an island together. With the score written by Andy Hurley of Manchester Orchestra. Fucking masterpiece. I'm so excited for this movie. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
I haven't, to be honest, I didn't know that trailer came out. I know it's supposed to come out in like a month. It has a March 25th date.
Oh,
March 25th date attached to it.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's just New York and LA. I'll probably slow roll out to some art house theaters and eventually kind of wide. Do you know what studio is behind this?
I think it's A24.
Okay, so it'll go wide.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah, it's A24. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. No. Here's what it is. So no, you're right. So it's going to premiere at South by Southwest, which is in mid-March. And then right after that, they're going to put it out in theaters. Like immediately.
They're going to get like the buzz going at South by.
Yeah.
They'll probably try and get like some audience awards and stuff like that and then propel that. A24 is incredible at marketing like that, where they're they don't wait 3 months to put a movie out after it's been in festivals. They're like, this movie got buzz. It's now in your home theater.
Yeah. I know there's some slight tinges of like maybe reality bending situations in the story. That's like the extent of what I know about it. I don't want to know anything else about it.
From the same team that was behind using a rotting corpse to like solve everyday tasks, they're gonna bend the realms of reality. That's crazy.
Sign me up. All right, what's next?
Next up, I want to. Where do I want to go with this? Okay, I know where I'll go. Can I cheat?
Sure.
Can I do a double?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's by two people.
This is 2 in 1 spot.
This is 2 in 1 spot. It's by a couple. They are married because Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig both have a movie coming out this year.
Is this Barbie?
It's Barbie is the Greta Gerwig film, which holy shit, I'm so excited. When you look at like it's trying to tell the story of Barbie, I can't fucking wait for this film. Also, I mean, just look at the names attached to it. You have sorry, I'm getting so slow on this.
I think it's isn't
IMDb is not working for me. I mean, I know
isn't it Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie is the main name,
and Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Okay, yeah, Ryan Gosling as Ken, which is just So good. I can't wait to fucking see that movie. I'm so excited for that. And then also Noah Baumbach, who made following up Marriage Story, which is again just a fucking stone cold masterpiece, one of the best films that he's made in his entire prolific career. He's making a movie called White Noise, starring Adam Driver. Greta Gerwig is in this, actually acting and stuff, which is now more of a rarity. Jodie Turner-Smith, Don Cheadle, Andre 3000.
Ooh.
And is following A Year in the Life of John Gladney, who is a professor who is worked in the field of Hitler studies. So I think it's going to have a little bit of quirkiness. It's probably going to go into a little bit of, maybe some political drama. I'm into it. Apparently there's like some mystery elements to it.
How much has Baumbach adapted before? Does he have a good track record with adapting?
That's a great question. Let me look through his filmography. I mean, of course, he's most well known for his.
Didn't he co-write a couple of?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's worked on screenplay for like
Wes
Fantastic
Anderson?
Mr. Fox.
Yeah, so I guess that
Life Aquatic.
I guess you could count that.
But I mean, he gets his bones from original screenplays, going all the way back to Kicking and Screaming.
Never forget
Squid and the Whale.
He's credited as a co-writer on Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. Don't you ever forget?
True? Oh my God. He wrote the screenplay for that. That's the same year as Francis Ha. So I wonder if he's just like, I need a check. I'm trying to make a movie just about a woman coming of age in New York City who happens to be like my love. Yeah. I'm not making any money from this movie. Please write me a check.
Please help. Yo, he's co-writing Barbie. Greta.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm trying to pair these two together, because they are both in each other's project. Greta's acting. We haven't seen Greta act in, I think, since what was the last project that Greta even acted in?
Mistress America, I believe, 2015.
Was that it? She doesn't really.
She voiced a dog in Isle of Dogs.
That's
or
right.
Somebody.
Yeah, she was in Isle of Dogs. 20th Century Women, I guess, was her last thing in 2016. But yeah, I mean, the last time that we've seen her as an on-stage, like on-camera presence has been 6 years. That
was another Baumbach Netflix joint before Marriage Story.
Also, I don't know if this is a Netflix joint. I think
it is.
Is it?
Yeah, because Baumbach is one of those guys that Netflix just like picked up.
Oh, they just like straight up signed him to a multi-project deal. Well, cool. I'm excited. Just both of those. Just sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, Barbie and White Noise. Okay, so we're back to me, and I think I'm gonna swing back to TV here. I have a couple choices. Okay, so let me talk through some of these choices right now, and I'll toss some of them aside as I talk through it. There's a show that literally just came out this weekend called Severance on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, yeah.
It's the new show from Ben Stiller, who made Escape at Dannemora, one of my favorite shows the last few years. He's back to direct. Weird kind of Black Mirror-y show on Apple.
Starring our boy Adam Scott.
Yeah.
So, heard nothing but fucking incredible things from the first episode.
Halo on Showtime. We love Halo. We love The Flood. We love The Covenant.
I'll let you have that one if you want to have it.
House of the Dragon. The GDT or not GD what am I saying? GOT. Not Guillermo del Toro.
He's just like my dragons instead of my monster.
The Game of Thrones prequel about the Targaryen family. I hope that show is good. We all have a bad taste in our mouth from the way Game of Thrones ended.
Actually, you know what? As kind of time has passed, I actually am kind of hopeful for that show.
Here's the one I'll actually put on my list, which is something I actually didn't even know existed until I caught the trailer like last week. It's called Our Flag Means Death, and it's a new Taika Waititi show.
Oh, yeah.
Where he plays like Blackbeard the pirate. It's about pirates on HBO. So it's like, look at What We Do in the Shadows, but
make it pirate.
But pirates. And it gets to be like very R-rated because it's on HBO. So I don't really know anything about this show. I think Martin Freeman is like the main guy in it. I guess it's not Martin Freeman. It's a Martin Freeman type.
Yeah, Riz Darby.
Yeah, Riz Darby.
Who's definitely not Martin Freeman. Just a British dude.
Fred Armisen's in there, and there's a bunch of like comedic that guys, both American and English, and probably some New Zealanders in there too, for all we know. I think Taika's one of those guys who is like so hot right now that he's like doing too much. Like he needs to like cool off a little bit.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, I just learned about this like earlier today because Gaia was talking about like things that she's hyped for, and she's like, "Yeah, Taika has a new show coming out." I was like, "Oh, Next Goal Wins." She's like, "No, he has like a show," and I'm like, "Thor: Love and Thunder." So he's gonna be involved in 3 projects this year.
Yeah. So I don't know how hands-on he's going to be in this. I know that he's in the show. I don't think he's a main player as far as I can tell.
I wonder if it's like...
No, he is second build.
Oh.
But he doesn't get created by credit. He gets executive producer credit. It's created by David Jenkins.
He also is executive producing Reservoir Dogs, which is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, season 2
as well. So Taika is doing a lot. He's doing the most.
So you know, I'm a little bit hesitant about this, but just because of Taika, because we both loved Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, he just has such a great track record. Even the What We Do in the Shadows show, which like he is like on and off heavily involved. Like he directs some episodes and writes some episodes, but like he's not a main guy in that show. Maybe that's what he'll bring to this project. We'll see. I'm more hopeful after seeing What We Do in the Shadows, especially now as it's going into its 3rd season, because really, more than anything, being a producer of a show means being able to have an eye for talent. Right. And he fucking nailed it with What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah. Because at this point, that show is kind of like Jermaine and Taika don't really do anything with that show anymore, but they just hit it with the writing and the writing staff that they brought in and the actors that they brought in. That show has kind of taken on a whole other life of its own. Yeah. It's kind of unfair to say this, but it's like a little bit on autopilot, but the autopilot is like excellence.
Yeah. I mean, I said whenever we did our TV episode that season 3 was like a little notch down just because you could feel a little bit of the kind of pandemic. It was still
hilarious though.
Ramification. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's just like, oh, this still like, if this was the first season of the show, then I would fucking love it. Like, I mean, I just because I'm comparing it to past works that it's, you know.
Okay. So that is called Our Flag Means Death. And I think it should be premiering fairly soon. Yeah, it's got a March premiere date.
Oh,
so we'll see the first episode pretty soon.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
All right, what you got?
What number are we at here?
So if we're not counting the rollovers, you're about to pick your 6th item.
Okay. I want to do something which is very risky, and we talked about it before the pod. Because, you know, you're always rolling. You're playing Russian roulette whenever you try and predict video games release dates. But I have 2 video games on here that are my most anticipated things of the year. One of those is Breath of the Wild 2, which would be my number 1 with a bullet. But the thing is, I don't think the game's coming out this year.
I highly doubt it.
I really don't. I want it to come out more than anything. Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece. Zelda is my favorite game franchise ever made. But I really doubt that's coming out this year. But I do have hopes that we are going to get a sequel to the best game on the PS4 lifespan, which is God of War, with God of War Ragnarok.
Only on PS5 or
a PS5 exclusive. Yeah. I think it's going to come out in November. I think that they are trying to push back the release day as long as possible to hope that PS5 stock can catch back up so people can buy this game. We did a whole thing about God of War whenever that game came out,
masterpiece,
years ago. It's one of the best games ever made. Like, that's not hyperbole. Like, I think that it genuinely is one of the greatest games ever fucking made. I think that it's an absolute stone cold masterpiece. It blends storytelling and having like just a really compelling plot, which I think kind of gets a little bit overrated in video games at this point, that we're at a point with The Last of Us and Uncharted and all these games where people are like, oh, but I know like the gameplay isn't that great, but like the story's so good. It's like, well, I'm playing a game.
Right.
If I want to like just have an engaging plot, then I'll just watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like when there's both, but the gameplay of God of War fucking kicks ass.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It gets rid of the hack and
Satisfying.
slash of the first few games that were on like the PS2 and PS3s to make just something that's so satisfying. The perfect level of challenge, which is in like a Dark Souls world where just things are just
too difficult
to the point of just like infuriation.
Well, also this
is something that it's gonna, like, you might lose a couple of times in a boss battle, but then whenever you get it, you feel so satisfied. You're like, I fucking did it.
The fact that it's not an open world game, I mean, it technically is, but it doesn't have like the enormous open map.
Yeah, it's like it's
a hub system.
It's like a fake open world. Like, it's like, oh, there's so much you can do, but like also you do have to go from point A to point B.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me, it honestly reminds me of fucking Crash Bandicoot. How like you're in that hub where you can go into all these portals. That's like, it's the same structure.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that they carry that over into this new game, because that's one of the things I love the most about it, is that it feels massive, it feels open, but it's not. It's not this like endless map.
Because, and the thing is, and a lot of games have struggled. I mean, the best games like a Breath of the Wild, or like even, I know you're a bigger fan than I was because I never actually finished it, but the Horizon games, where the worst version of these open world games, it's like, oh, the map is endless, but also it feels barren to a point.
Yeah.
It feels like it's missing things. And the best open world games never feel barren. They always feel like you can find something new whenever you like cross on the other side of this mountain or what have you. And I love those games, but that's an entirely different type of game than, I feel like those games inherently, like, you can't be as invested. You can't have as linear of a story that you're trying to tell when you have that open of a landscape. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
storytelling doesn't work in a way where it's just like where we go from point A to M to back to like C, and then we're gonna go over here. Like, whenever you can jump around in more of an open world story, it doesn't quite.
It can backfire. Mm-hmm. Like, look at something like Assassin's Creed, which I love. Odyssey, like, that's one of my favorite games, but that's a game that I'll never finish. You know, like when you compare that to something like Spider-Man, which technically is an open world but contained just Manhattan / like some of the outer boroughs. I got 100% completion in Spider-Man. Yeah. Like, I finished that game. I will never finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like, that map is so massive that it feels endless.
So another example to that, and whenever I was giving my kind of generic overview of the open world games not working, it's because of one specific game that I'm thinking of. It's a game that I fired up for the first time in years since it came out, and that's Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been trying to play through it, to grind through it, but here's the thing about Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's too fucking big, and there's so many tangential plot lines happening that after putting the game down for a few years and coming back to it, I'm doing missions and I have no connection to the story. They're just like, oh yeah, you returned to help us burn out the oil men at this oil rig. And I'm like, sure, I guess. I don't like, you left no impact on my brain in the years since I've left you. It is, but like it is that whole thing where it's too open. Big. It's too big. Yeah. And that game is trying to accomplish something different, where it's trying to almost like make you sit with the vast openness of the Wild West. But the beauty of the first God of War game, which I really hope they bring into this game, is that you have the beauty and the spectacle of this gorgeous open world, but there are walls to it.
Yeah. Parameters.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I can't fucking wait for that game.
They are putting, at least on Wikipedia, apparently it is going to be on PS4 also.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Huh. To be honest, I know a lot of people need a PS5, but like, I kind of don't like that. I'm ready for games to just become exclusive so that they can fully, because
harness the power.
God damn, the power of the PS5 is like, we're just scratching the surface of what that fucking thing can do. It's having a computer that you can, as your home console. The power of that thing is insane. And
I hope we get it this year.
I hope so.
All right, so we're back to me. So I'm gonna pick a movie. And I'm looking at a couple. This is like my next tier here. Like we ran through like my first tier already. Those have already been mentioned. And now I'm looking at my next tier, and I don't want to go in order. I kind of want to go with my gut here. And there's a couple I could go with, but I think the first one that jumps out at me is a movie by a little guy named James Cameron. Little up and comer.
Thank God you put this. I was gonna be disappointed with you if you didn't put this on your list.
Avatar 2 is supposed to come out this year.
14 years in the making.
Avatar 1 came out in the year 2009 of our Lord.
Oh, 13 years. Excuse me.
And we're due to get the sequel that I mean, how long has it been?
Do you have like a picture of you holding a ticket stub for Avatar in 2009 that you can like post with a picture of you holding a ticket stub for Avatar 2? I think I don't
have the ticket stub. I definitely have a picture of us wearing the IMAX 3D glasses in the theater for sure. I
remember you that photo as well. We need to find that so we can get like some shitty glasses to wear to Avatar 2.
I don't know if this movie is even real. I don't know if it's ever gonna even come out. But in the event that it does, I'm putting it down, because don't you dare doubt James Cameron. Don't you dare. The man has made the biggest movies ever. Some of the best movies ever made. The man is a absolute pioneer of the craft. A genius filmmaker. And every single time people doubt this man, we weren't conscious back then. We were wee toddlers. But when Titanic was in production, people were like, it's over. He's done. He's making a Titanic movie. He's building a giant boat set. It's over. It's done. It's done. Like, shut it down. Over budget, over schedule. Who's this Leonardo DiCaprio? Who the fuck? What are you doing, Jim? The fuck? Somebody had the last laugh. Somebody had the last laugh. And then he did it all over again with Avatar. You know, biggest movie of all time. Just now, all these years later, being dethroned by Endgame and Spider-Man. Made all the money in the world. And here he comes again. And not only is he going to do Avatar 2, he's going to do 3, 4, 5, and 6 too. Maybe.
So, I love you defending James Cameron. Like, the man who is responsible for like 2 of the biggest movies in cinema history.
Try like 4.
No, but I'm just talking about just financial wise, like 2 of the top 5 most successful movies in history. Coming to
he's out here just like inventing new technology.
So my thing is, because kind of infamously at this point, he was like, the reason why Avatar 2 took me too long is because I had to wait for technology to advance to the point so that I could make my vision how I wanted to make it. What if this movie comes out and just like looks like an MCU movie? I mean, it just like is like there's like a gray, like a night fight scene, and it just kind of looks like mush.
There's no way he's gonna do that. He is too good
I know that he won't, but like I just can't keep thinking about that. What if people see it and they're like, yeah, it looks like kind of look like Endgame fighting, like, you know, it's just kind of gray.
The original Avatar was on TV the other day. I threw it on for a few minutes. There are definitely a lot of shots that look very video game now. You know, 13 years later. It you know, doesn't quite hold up. But there are a lot of shots that are like close-ups that are seamless. All these years later, the technology somehow hasn't fully collapsed on itself with what he did. And I feel like he can find a path towards realizing what's in his head. He can do it. If anybody can do it, this man can do it. I have faith.
I mean, so and like joking aside, I have no doubts this movie is going to be absolutely visually stunning. It's already one of the front runners for the honestly visually stunning award of the year. I have no doubts on that front.
Yeah, we are learning how to say that what you just said in Navi.
Yeah. We learned, we actually reached out to the group from the How To episode this year, and like we're trying to like join their crew. I more so am thinking because, well, people are just like, oh, you know, like it looks great, Avatar and everything else. When you were rewatching Avatar, did the story resonate with you in any kind of meaningful way?
I'm a big Fern Gully guy. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's just like it's a very by the numbers story, and they can't do that again.
Right.
So that's more where I'm like hesitant because
where's it going to go? Yeah.
I love James Cameron.
Yeah. You love Jake Sully too. Sam Worthington.
Yes. He always viewed himself as kind of a surrogate character in this universe. He's like, I would put myself in there if I was a bit younger and more spry. James Cameron, for like being one of the greatest visual filmmakers ever of all time. Sometimes some of his scripts and his lesser works they aren't quite there.
Right.
And you often overlook those faults because you are just completely swept up in the marvel of it all. But I'm just kind of, that being said, he has now had 13 years to work on this fucking script.
Yeah.
You don't really have an excuse to just like be like, oh, well, I like saw Dances with Wolves again and like it really inspired me.
Did you watch the interview that he did with Denis Villeneuve?
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll put it in the show notes too. He did this like probably 20 to 30 minute conversation with Denis Villeneuve. It is fascinating conversation. Just like
Denis might be coming up on his block a little bit.
Like I just could not get enough of these two just chatting it up. They talked about, or Jim talked about how he's already done with 2. Like 2's done. It's ready. He's working on 3 and 4 right now. Like they're shooting and in like kind of the production process of 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, I should say. But yeah, 2's in the bag. Like they're just putting the final tweaks on it. So it's happening. It's coming. Another fun tidbit from that is Denis like asks him about what he thinks about basically one of the big topics we've had on this show about the blurring of the lines between cinema and television, between movies and TV. And James Cameron had like the best fucking answer for it. He basically says that he loves that gray area and he wants technology to blossom in that gray area. And he wants to make a movie that is also a television show at the same time. And you can like log on to the streaming service, pull up the movie, and either click the 2.5 hour version or the 8 hour version.
That's cool.
And have it be able to work seamlessly in either scenario.
I like that. You know what's one other thing that James Cameron has working in his favor is that this man is the king of the sequels. Yeah. He's responsible for
Aliens T2.
Possibly the 2 greatest sequels ever made, which kind of leads me to believe that Avatar 2 could be like substantially better than the first Avatar.
Yeah,
because he's got the pre-established story, which is the benefits they had with Alien and with Terminator, is he doesn't have to worry about setting up these characters anymore. We know James Sully. We love James Sully. I have my James Sully. Jake. I call him James. Friends call him James.
Is he even in this movie?
I have my Jake Sully action figure that I push around his little wheelchair until he becomes Blue Man, and then he can walk.
You know who's in this movie that was not in the first one? Kate Winslet.
Oh, good for Kate.
Yeah. Mare herself.
For Kate.
Oh my God. I'm just looking at this cast list. You know who's also Jermaine Clement is in this movie.
Wait, what? Oh, is Jermaine gonna be like the funny Funny Blue Man.
Yeah, he's gonna reprise his role from Moana.
Funny Navi.
He's the giant crab.
Is he gonna be shiny?
I hope so.
I hope he's shiny.
All right, what's next?
You defended one old successful white guy, so I guess I'll just go ahead and defend the other old successful white guy. And how about our boy Steven? You know, everyone counted him out.
You did.
Everyone
I know you did.
Collectively,
to my
except for me. No, I did. I counted him out. I said that Ready Player One, that was his magnum opus.
Right.
He should have left on that high note. And he won me back a bit with West Side Story.
Right.
West Side Story, which I think is a fantastic movie. It's better than the original. Really love that movie. And West Side Story didn't do as well, I think, awards wise, as they were hoping.
Don't speak so soon.
What do you think is going? Do you think that West Side Story is going to fucking win Best Picture
again,
and Steven Spielberg's going to win Best Director? Because I have breaking news for you. That's not going to happen.
You know what the Oscars love to do? They love to give Best Picture to a movie that already won Best Picture.
This would
to pat themselves on the back. Like, you know what?
Yeah,
we got it the first time.
We did it, guys.
Let's just keep it rolling.
You know who's good? Stephen Sondheim. I don't know. No, I love that movie, but I think that movie isn't getting as much awards love. And I think that there's a chance that Steven Spielberg's movie that's coming out this year, The Fabelmans, could like get all of the awards love next year. This is Steven Spielberg trying to make an autobiographical story of his life. He hasn't really done anything deeply personal in pretty much the 21st century. The last time that he had his name attached to a screenplay before The Fabelmans was, do you know it?
AI, I believe.
AI, yeah. It's been 21 years.
And then before that, it was Close Encounters.
Yeah. So he is actually writing this script, or co-writing it with Tony Kushner as like longtime collaborator, but working on this script to tell a semi-autobiographical story. The cast of this movie includes, as we mentioned on the Seltzer cast, David Lynch, who I think is just going to be like a sub-supporting role, but just gotta love that David Lynch just popped up in there. Michelle Williams, Seth Rogen, Paul Dano, Julia Butters. IMDb's glitching out on me. There's
the main cast right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people on this, like just sub characters that everybody wants to be involved in this story. I think that there's a chance that this movie is just like incredible, undeniable. I could see this being like just the movie where people are like, man, you know who's great? Steven Spielberg.
Also, like I said with Marty, like we don't know how many more we're going to get from him.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, we got to make them all count. And this one just seems like right down the center of, you know, it's just set up for success.
Yeah. It's a coming of age story about Steven Spielberg. I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it.
The Fabelmans. At least that's what its working title is. Well, I don't know if are they going to change.
Do you like that title? I don't know if I love that title.
Change it to Steven.
Steve. Just Steve.
Yeah.
His friends call him Steve.
Yeah. All right. Let's swing back to TV. I'm having a tough time here because I have a section on my list called Disney Plus Trash.
Is this all of the... Look, there's a couple of good Disney Plus things I'm excited
for. I think I'm going to pick one of these to put on my list, and I don't know which one. All right, let me throw out a couple here. So I won't do Miss Marvel because we don't even know if that one's actually coming this year, but if by all means it probably is, because I think it was supposed to come last year, so it would only make sense for it to come this year. I don't really know much about it, so I'll throw that one out. Andor, the Diego Luna Rogue One spinoff. That character didn't really resonate much with me in Rogue One, so I guess I'll watch it maybe. She-Hulk could be fun with Tatiana Maslany, I believe her name is, from Orphan Black, and our guy The Ruff reprising his role. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, Ewan coming back.
We do love Ewan.
Yeah, hello there. You know, I don't know. It could be a lot of member berries there. Could be a lot of member berries.
Oh, you think so? Oh my God! Wait,
Star Wars? Ewan? Remember?
Dude, do you remember the fucking X-wing?
Dude,
oh my God, the X-wing.
Do you remember Darth Vader? He's coming back.
I will say, you know what movie actually is kind of sad? I haven't actually watched it in years. I think as time has gone on, I've thought more fondly about Rogue One. I feel like Rogue One has tried to do something different. Yeah. And people didn't really like that it did something different.
I think people did like it, but it got completely overshadowed by The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because The Last Jedi came out like 6 months or a year after that.
Yeah.
And everybody fucking lost their minds at the best Star Wars movie. Anyway, my actual pick is a show that we're getting within the next month. It's Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, coming in to do absolutely disgusting, awful accents. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Oh, man.
I feel at home with a terrible accent. You know, coming off of like I literally watched the card counter last night and then immediately put on the trailer for Moon Knight, and I was like, you know what?
You're back in.
Let's do this. Let's do this. You know, get your bag.
You watched Oscar Isaac commit war crimes and you're like, I'm ready for it. Come on, Moon Knight.
Let's do the war crimes of an absolutely atrocious British accent. And
why did they just get a British? There's like half of the MCU is just British dudes.
Well, because the whole thing with Moon Knight is that like he is an insane person. He has like schizophrenia pretty much. And I don't know, you know, TBD on how this show is going to handle mental health.
Do you have doubts about how the Marvel is going to display mental illness? What?
But I have a feeling that this, you know, this could give people, I feel like I always say this and it never pans out, but this could give people the feeling of something different from the MCU, of them trying to go in a slightly different direction from the template. This looks like a little bit more kind of horror-ish, kind of weird, kind of dark, you know, kind of being a little bit creepy, a little bit kind of twisted, you know. Is it just me or are things getting a little bit stranger out there?
Twisted out here.
Yeah. So Moon Knight, I'll watch it, and I think of all the Disney Plus trash that I mentioned, I think it's the one that I feel like could give me the most, I don't know, kind of maybe not newness, but like feeling of like it being like a real thing and not just like a corporate product.
It's two of like our favorite people in the world are involved, so at least there is that. Can I tell you, actually, this isn't going to be on my list, but one Disney Plus trash pick that I'm really hyped for that's coming out in, I think, 2 months? It's coming out pretty soon because we just got a trailer for it. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh, that's not trash. That looks good.
No, but just Disney. It's a Disney Plus thing. It's just going straight to Disney Plus. Directed by Akiva, starring our boys, Andy Samberg and John Mulaney, also featuring Seth Rogen, a bunch of other incredible comedy talents.
Yeah, it's like
I'm really excited for this.
It's like
movie.
playing in that space of like the reboot, the classic 2D animation to 3D animation reboot of it all.
Yeah.
It's just like, and also trying to do like commentary on motion. It's like it's taking direct hits at Robert Zemeckis. Like Roger Rabbit is in this show and they're like directly addressing Beowulf. It's like Robert Zemeckis, lock your doors at night. Chip and Dale are coming.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers are coming for you. Yeah, I'm excited. It's coming out in May of this year. I'm super fucking excited for that movie.
All right, what will you actually put on your list though?
Oh man, how many picks do we got left here? What are we looking at?
Well, you're about to make your 8th pick.
My
Again,
8th
not
pick.
counting the rollovers.
Okay. You know, I just because you just mentioned Marvel stuff, I'm just gonna put it on here. You know, I'm a simple man. and I love my guys. And one of my guys is Sam Raimi. And Sam Raimi has a new film coming out in just a couple of months, and it's Doctor Strange. And I know it's going to be a neutered Sam Raimi film and a neutered version of the horror genre, but like, I don't care. Sam Raimi doesn't fucking make movies anymore, and he's releasing a movie, even if it's going to have the Marvel funnel on it to filter out so much of what makes Sam Raimi a genius. Yeah. It's still a new Sam Raimi movie. Like,
Marvel probably went back and looked at his movie and they're like, we need to reshoot like 45% of this. Sam, we don't need you.
Probably. But
the last movie he made was Oz the Great and the Powerful, 2013. So almost a decade without a new Sam Raimi movie.
But like, I'm interested to see what this is, because we've heard about the reshoots. We've heard about,
you know what the rumor is with the reshoots?
What?
That Marvel's trying to like bank off of the Spider-Man hype. That this is a far-fetched rumor. Do not take any type of weight to this, but the rumor is that Marvel wants money.
What?
And they're looking at Spider-Man and they're like, well, we brought back Toby and Andrew and it got us this amount of money. Let's bring back everyone. So that's the rumor. And the appearance of one Professor Xavier, or at least the 45% of the back of his head in the trailer and his voice, might signal to that. I think that this movie has the potential to be a good balance of that nerd nostalgia, type. It kind of like what John Watts did with Spider-Man. Like he did the nerd nostalgia shit of bringing back Toby and Andrew and Willem and, Alfred, everybody, and also telling a good story. Like if they are able to do that, if they bring back characters from like old X-Men and Fantastic Four movies and wherever else they want to do, and also like service the story, I think this works. That being said, the movie is called The Multiverse of Madness. Give us madness. Like fully lean into the madness. I want to see it. I don't want to just see like, hey, I remember that guy from the X-Men movies. I remember that guy from the Fantastic Four movies. Whoa, I recognize that person. Like, I don't want 2 hours of that.
And I hope that it's not that. I am more optimistic because I think back, it's not like Marvel is a stranger to kicking a famous, well-known director off of a project. Very notably, Edgar Wright, one of our favorite guys, he's not on the final end results for Ant-Man. Yeah. And you can feel the like stamps of Edgar Wright on that movie, but then it becomes so muted down to just being just another Marvel movie that has flashes, but at the end of the day, it's just another Marvel movie.
Right.
I think that Sam Raimi is kind of a genius at working in the machine. I think that's an underrated thing about him.
Look at Spider-Man.
Look at Spider-Man.
Yeah, he did it before anybody else.
Look at the Evil Dead movies. Evil Dead, he never wanted to make a sequel to the Evil Dead movies. And then he came back and said, you want me to make a sequel? Then fuck you. I'm going to shit all over the first movie that I made. And I'm going to like reinvent the horror comedy genre with Evil Dead 2, and then came back with Army of Darkness and is like, oh, did you like that? Now we're gonna go to medieval times and I'm gonna have this man with a chainsaw attached to his arm and a shotgun just shooting up zombies. Do you like that?
Let's do that in this movie.
He knows. Sam Raimi is a master of camp, and I hope that this movie gets campiness right, because that's a thing that like I think that that's something that's underrated, that the Marvel things need to kind of understand is good camp. Camp does not mean nostalgia tripping. Right. Those are two completely different ideas, is nostalgia and campiness to a genre. And I think that he could bring in kind of just making things so zany and so out there and so like non-fucking sensical that it could be something special.
It really could. It really could.
I'm hyped for it.
Before we get to mine, just since we're in Marvel land right now, shout out to Thor: Love and Thunder, which you mentioned earlier, that we're supposed to be getting that this year. I cannot wait for this movie. I think that it is going to be even wackier than Ragnarok. Which, like, when you think back to Ragnarok, like, yeah, there's parts of that movie that are very like Marvel Machine, but Taika got to do a lot of crazy shit with that movie, and I'm hopeful that they'll let him go even more crazy with Love and Thunder. And also Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, the most cursed movie ever. The fullest,
I can't believe that movie.
Project.
I cannot believe that movie's still supposed to come out this year.
I honestly don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
They're not even done filming it.
Yeah, they probably just
should not.
The movie should never see the fucking light of day.
But that honestly, that makes me even more intrigued.
Could we just? Is there a chance? And I know this is a slight tangent, but Creed 3 is also supposed to come out this year.
Directed by Michael B. Jordan. Yeah.
Could we have like just a like handshake agreement where Michael B. Jordan just like he shows back up at Wakanda Forever and is like, hey guys, I'll just be the surrogate person here because like I was the other thing that was great about Black Panther. So this movie isn't just like dead before the ship even leaves the dock. But can we also have Ryan Coogler take over and just direct Creed 3 to create some magic over there?
Did you see What If, the animated show?
No.
There's an episode of What If where Michael B. Jordan comes back to voice his character, and he basically becomes like the ruler of Wakanda in that episode.
So has that started all of the nerds thinking that like this is just going to happen? Like this is a preview of what's going to happen?
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of overlap in the trailer for Multiverse of Madness to What If. A lot of the same kind of multiversally visuals from that show are being carried over into live action with this trailer. So there is potential that we could see MBJ reprise and come back. And it would make sense, you know, to kind of like,
I mean, it's
not fully
him
recast.
Or Letitia Wright have the Sherry kind of take over.
Maybe
for
she'll
that role,
get the shot.
Also,
if she gets the shot.
Letitia Wright said a lot of like anti-vax shit that ain't very cool. So, you know, we'll see. Disney did not really like her sharing all of those sentiments.
Well, there's also Winston Duke from Baku. He's in the mix too.
There you go.
Okay. Moving out of Marvel land. Let's draw back the stakes a little bit. Let's go a little bit more bare bones here with a movie from a director who made a very small scale film that made at least my top 10 of the year. I can't remember if it made yours. Olivia Wilde's new movie.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad this is on your list.
Don't Worry, Darling. The follow-up to Booksmart. This is going to be very different from Booksmart. Booksmart is a very kind of coming of age, high school kind of movie. This is going to be way more kind of out there, kind of thriller-y, a little bit more psychological kind of thing. I don't really know too much about it. We got a little bit of a sneaky teaser. It stars Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine. I think Olivia Wilde is in it too. Nick Kroll is supposed to be in it. I don't even know what it's going to be, but I'm excited for it. And I love Booksmart so much. I think she's a really, really good talent. And I think this has the potential to be maybe better than Booksmart because it's just like kind of widening the scope a little bit of what she can do and not just kind of fitting into this very, you know, tried and true genre of like what a first feature should be. This is just like, all right, you can do anything now. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, and also to that point, like, I love Booksmart. I really, really love that movie. But there is a little bit of, you can kind of feel the first time filmmaker of it all, where it is just kind of it's a lot of stuff is happening in there, which, I mean, it's something that if I ever had the chance to make a feation length film, I would 100% do this, where it's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get another shot of this, so I'm going to fucking throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. And now she's kind of refined her craft a little bit more. And I'm super excited. This was on my list as well for things that I can't wait for.
Don't Worry, Darling. All right, let's keep it moving. What you got?
Mine is a little movie that I think was on all 3 of our top 10s whenever the original came out back in 2019. And that is a new film by Rian Johnson, Knives Out 2.
Mm-hmm. On
it's
Netflix.
coming out, baby. This movie is just, it has, first of all, everyone is in this. Like literally everyone is in this movie. Everyone that you love is back.
Ethan Hawke,
Daniel Craig,
Catherine
Dave
Hahn,
Bautista, Catherine Hahn,
Edward Norton,
Jessica Henwick, Kate Hudson, Jada Pinkett Smith, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr. I can't fucking wait for this movie.
Is it going to be called Knives Out too?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's going to be a Knives Out : something.
Okay. That would make sense.
That's my, if I was a betting man.
Benoit Blanc mystery.
Yeah, a Benoit Blanc story. We're just going to hold Benoit Blanc series.
What if he does a different accent in each movie?
Oh my God. That would be so, what, we're going to get into some dicey territory there because we can do like him doing British, him doing Southern, and then like, Californians?
Yeah, I mean, in the first movie, he's doing like a very very drawn out, very Southern.
He's doing a little bit of this. It's a little more Kentucky accent, you see.
Yeah. So if he switches it up, if he gives us like, I don't know, like some kind of like maybe like French Canadian. What is a French Canadian?
Amen.
Who done it?
Who
done it?
Hey, this is just a classic who done it.
I'm super stoked for this too.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep it moving. There's another one. We're getting into the territory here of like stuff that is just like a given. Like it's just got to be on the list. You know, it's not like at the top, but like we can't finish the list without it. So I just got to mention it. The new Damien Chazelle movie, Babylon.
Yeah. We had to have this on here.
Yeah. I mean, how could this not be on the list?
It's it might just be like one of my favorite filmmakers working right now.
Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Tobey Maguire is supposed to be in this movie. Like it's supposed to be like a period piece of old Hollywood. And I mean, we both love La La Land. I think you and Drew both had Whiplash at your number 1 of the decade.
Yep, Whiplash is one of my favorite movies ever made.
It's got to be on there. Babylon. I hope it's got to come out this year. It's going to be an awards.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. Is it post production? Is it?
I believe so.
I think so. Are we at 10 or 11 on me?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're about to pick 10.
10? Okay. So this is just a pick. This is just a me pick. But 2 of my boys are releasing albums this year. And no, I'm not talking about Coheed, which could go on this list, but like I don't want to just I don't want to just talk about Coheed for like nonstop for the next 45 minutes and bore the listeners. The real ones, One Among the Fence, you know who you are. Do you know who has a new album coming out in like a couple of weeks?
No clue.
Tears for Fears.
Oh, nice.
Tears for Fears is making a comeback. No, it's been decades.
They've been touring though.
Yeah, but just putting out old stuff. They're releasing a brand new album. I just learned about this the other day. I was in a local record store on Valentine's Day, and they had like a thing going where it was just like, if you buy the 8-track of their new single that they have out, then you can get like $5 off of the vinyl whenever it comes out.
Hell yes.
And I was like, yo, Tears for Fears is fucking back. Tears for Fears, one of my favorite artists ever. I had no idea that they were still writing music and still like out there and kicking it, but they're releasing an album that's coming out very soon. And I don't care if it's bad. Here's the thing. I feel like it's like, you know how ABBA came out for you?
Right.
They came out of the woodwork and they released an album just for you last year. This is how I feel for Tears for Fears. I'm like, my boys are back. They're doing it. They're fucking back here. I can't wait.
I hope it's good, man.
I hope it's great. I mean, it might be fucking amazing. Tears for Fears, again, one of like the best duos ever in music.
Okay. So I think this is my last pick here. I think this is my number 11. Let me make sure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. So this is my number 11. And again, like I just mentioned with my Babylon pick, the list cannot happen without this movie being on there. So I just have to be the guy. And I'm just leaving an open slot for you here when I pick this because it's The Killer, the new David Fincher movie. I actually don't know if this movie is going to come out this year, but in the event that it does, holy fuck, I'm there. Day one. Michael Fassbender.
Does this have a 2022 date set on it? I mean, not like a hard date, but did they say it's 2020? I knew that he was working on this. I didn't even know that was supposed to be come out this year.
Well, it might not, but
well, you know.
If it in the event that it does, if he gets a quick turnaround on it, I'm there. I mean, it's a new Fincher movie and it's starring Michael Fassbender and it's about a serial killer. Like,
yeah, it's him going back to his roots of, yeah.
Okay, give us your final pick and then we'll do kind of like the last round.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead. There's a few places that I could go on here. I could go Lightyear.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's
it's definitely the story of the true human that the toy is based on.
Yes, yeah, of course. I could go some more music that's coming out. Charlie XCX has an album that's coming out in like a month that I'm super fucking excited for. There's already been some highly anticipated albums that have come out to varying levels of success that I was really hyped for. Spoon and Earl Sweatshirt. I just have to put it on here. Might not come out this year. Might have to roll it over next year. But Breath of the Wild 2. Okay. I mentioned it before. Breath of the Wild, Zelda games are like the best games ever made. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask kind of fluctuate between my number 1, number 2, and Breath of the Wild might be there as like those might just be my 3 favorite games ever made, and they kind of all fluctuate in between.
If it does come out, then
if it's just like even a notch below Breath of the Wild, then it's gonna be one of the best games ever made. Like it's
announced. At least we know it's announced. It's announced, worked on.
They just had a Switch Direct, which I was really hoping they were going to put a release date on Breath of the Wild 2. They didn't. They did announce, which sub my 11.5 pick is that Wii Sports is coming back with Switch Sports, which Switch Golf, baby, I'm here for it. I'm ready to I'm going to be fucking making Arnold Palmers and then just fucking swinging in my living room trying to go 18 under I'm going to get a divorce because of this. But I'm fine. I'm fully ready for it. I'm excited. There's great video games coming out this year. Like I didn't even mention there's a lot of really, really fucking cool video games that are coming out this year.
If they're not pushed back. That's the thing with games now.
Yeah.
Is that you either
COVID kind of changed everything.
Yeah, you either get like an unfinished game that just needs to be patched, or it gets delayed.
Pretty sure that I might have mentioned Cyberpunk. It wasn't in the list, but I think that I mentioned Cyberpunk last year, and that's an example of a game that probably should have waited a bit to release that one.
Okay, so just to recap, these are the lists you picked. These are your rollovers that we're not counting for the 22. Lord of the Rings, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Top Gun Maverick. Those are coming out. Okay, so here's your 11. Men, Alex Garland. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse, sorry.
Yeah,
Part 1. 10,000 Gex. Killers of the Flower Moon. Barbie / White Noise. God of War Ragnarok. The Fabelmans. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Knives Out 2. New Tears for Fears album. And Breath of the Wild 2. My rollovers from last year are The Northman, Bobby the Eggman, Robert Eggers, new joint, Atlanta season 3 and 4, and Barry season 3. And then my new picks, my 11 are Nope, Better Call Saul, The Batman, Sandman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Our Flag Means Death, Avatar 2, Moon Knight, Don't Worry Darling, Babylon, and The Killer. So we'll see if any of these roll over to next year. Hopefully none.
Hopefully none.
We'll probably get a couple. Okay, before we wrap up, these are a couple things that I'm also excited for this year. Here's a couple TV shows. The Boys is coming back for a new season, and they're also doing a little animated show called Diabolical that I'm excited to check out. There's a show called Winning Time on HBO from Adam McKay.
Yeah, coming out in like March 1st.
Yeah,
it's coming out in just a couple weeks.
LA Lakers lineup with Magic Johnson.
I didn't put that on there because after seeing Don't Look Up, Adam McKay has to win me back.
Yeah, Winning Time me back. Yeah, for sure.
He has to Winning Time me back.
There's a show called The White House Plumbers coming out on HBO with our
Steve
boy.
Carell?
No, it's Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's all I know about it. It's called White House Plumbers with Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson.
Amen.
As Mario and Luigi in my dreams.
Yeah, no love for the Mario, for our favorite Italian American, Chris Pratt.
I picked Sandman, but this is the rest of my Netflix trash list. The Crown coming back with Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana. Probably check that out. Me, who only watched season 4 of The Crown and not seasons 1, 2, and 3, am going to watch season 5 of The Crown because I'm deranged. Stranger Things just dropped a bunch of posters on us coming back for season 4 and then a final season 5, but that'll be next year.
They need to crank that shit out because these people are old now. Have you seen Finn Wolfhard?
They're M. Night Shyamalan old.
They went to the fucking beach is what they did.
And Russian Doll coming back for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super excited for that.
And
I just decided not to put any coming back seasons of TV on my list.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Here are the movies that I'm excited for this year that I hope. Okay. There's a couple that we know are coming back that are coming out this year. The new Michael Bay movie, Ambulance.
Dude, Ambulance. Let me tell you.
We need to do an episode.
So did I tell you, I watched, what was it? I was in the theater with Gaia. And I came in, I got us popcorn or a drink or something. I came in, Ambulance was on. I had already seen the trailer. And Gaia and me looked at each other at the same time. And almost simultaneously, she said, "This looks like the worst movie ever." And I said, "This looks like the greatest movie ever."
It's going to be amazing.
And I think it might be a combination of those two, and it might just be a masterpiece.
Yeah. If I didn't have a hard on for James Cameron, this movie would be on my list. For sure.
Go.
It is Ambulance. And the LA in Ambulance is highlighted
because they're in LA,
and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
It looks like a Michael Mann movie, which is what gets me excited.
And Yahya Abdul-Mateen, the second.
Let's fucking go!
Sign me up. Disappointment Boulevard, the new Ari Aster movie.
Oh yeah,
with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, I would have 1,000% put that on my list. I completely forgot that was this year.
It's coming out. The new movie by the director of The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. It's called Blonde. It's a Marilyn Monroe movie starring Ana de
Andrew
Armas.
Dominic.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Are you anticipating that?
The
I probably
Flash.
should see the second Jurassic World before I anticipate the third one.
Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. We love our boy James Wan. Get that money. Get paid.
Malignant 2.
A movie that you and some other friends of the pod put on your fantasy film league list. Canterbury Glass.
I was going to say, is it Canterbury Glass? It's a movie.
The new David O. Russell movie.
Who David O. Russell, I wouldn't call myself a big fan of, but you know what he does and why I drafted him is because he likes actors and he likes to get awards for things.
Let's see who's attached to this movie. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana, Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, see, he gets
Taylor
actors,
Swift.
He gets actors and they get awards for things.
Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Chris Rock, Michael Shannon, Timothy Oliphant. Holy thought! What in the
and
fuck?
I don't have a single fucking idea what this movie is. This is the thing. You know why? Because I almost put that on my list and I was like, oh my God, everybody's on this movie. And I was like, oh wait, what's the last movie that everybody was in? It was Don't Look Up, which is one of the worst movies to come out of last year. But we'll save that for next pod where we talk about our awards core.
Okay. Let's see what else we can shout out before we wrap up. Bros is a movie written and starring Billy Eichner. It's a romantic. It's a romantic comedy between two men. Gay romantic comedy. Should be fun.
That's dope.
We love Billy Eichner. Billy on the Street. Something called Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt, directed by David Leitch, who did Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Fast and Furious Presents. So kind of like a fast action movie with Brad Pitt. Could be fun. Let's see what else we got here. We mentioned Lightyear. Oh, Deep Water. The Ana de Armas Ben Affleck erotic thriller. That should be dropping on Hulu pretty soon. Super Mario, Creed 3, Chip and Dale. Hey, Halloween Ends? Are you going to be first in line for Halloween Ends?
After seeing Halloween Kills, which was one of the worst movies of last year, no, I can't say.
Okay. Clear out the paint. This is the last movie we'll mention because it just had its trailer premiere. It's the new Baz Luhrmann film, Elvis.
Elvis? So here's the thing about Elvis, that he never paid for drugs. Not one time.
The wrong kid died.
If you have not seen the trailer yet for Elvis, just instead of watching the trailer for Elvis, just watch the movie Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story, and
it's literally what this is.
You'll just get it, and it'll be a better time.
You know what the sad thing is?
He has to think about his entire life before he plays the show.
The sad thing about this movie is that, like, it honestly doesn't even look that bad, but like
it looks like
it's just Dewey Cox.
Yeah,
it's just the same.
Here's the thing. Baz Luhrmann can fucking burn in hell after what he did to The Great Gatsby, which is quite possibly the greatest book ever written. And he shit on what I still think is like a God tier, an S tier Leo performance. Leonardo DiCaprio was made to play Jay Gatsby.
Right. And he does it.
Baz Luhrmann is just like, what if I just like suffocated you in the excess and the glitz and glory? And Jay-Z, why don't you come in here and do the score for everything? Right. And we're gonna have booming hip hop beats on it. I will never forget seeing The Great Gatsby in theaters opening day of senior year. It came out right around my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited for it. And I went there I was like, this fucking shit. I was by the guy who made Moulin Rouge. I was like, I love Moulin Rouge. The excess, the glitz and the glamour, give it to me. Fucking such a disappointment. Never forget.
We'll be there for Elvis.
Be there for Elvis.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please email us at webottommike@gmail.com and follow us at webottommike on social media. We're now on TikTok. We're doing TikToks, so follow us on there. Subscribe, follow, and donate at our website, webottommike.net. Thank you so much for you donors for supporting the show. Thanks to David, friend of the pod, for becoming a new donor.
Hey.
Shout out. And also, please tune in for next week as we get back to Robin Williams with Aladdin, and then Toys coming after that. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.